Hey, what's up? So, I figured I'd catch this wave, this holiday wave of New Year's, and talk a little bit about New Year's resolutions. And, I think most people, when they think of New Year's resolutions, they kind of see it as this sort of pop culture junk kind of thing. You get the emails about gym memberships, nutrition plans, and New Year, New You, this kind of thing, and it's really easy to dismiss it. And I think anybody will know there's research on it, but it's easy to see that most people, they'll make their resolutions and they won't really follow through with them. And that will lead you maybe to discard it, but I think that they're worthwhile. And I think that because in order for you to get to where you want to go and be the person you want to be and get the things in life that you want, I think you need an idea of what that's going to look like. Because when you have an idea of what it's going to look like, then you kind of know what to shoot for and what to work hard for and put in the work for. Because if not, you're kind of driving blind. It's like one of my friends used to tell me, you could be driving on the road, and if you don't know where you're going, you may want to go to West Coast, but you don't got a map. You don't even know you want to go to the West Coast. You'll just drive and then eventually end up somewhere, and you don't know if that's where you want to be or not. So, goals are useful. But you've heard that already. What you may not have heard, and the perspective I want to offer that I don't think is spoken about much, is that there is sometimes when you cross the finish line and you get the goal you want, it's kind of, there's an emptiness that follows. And maybe it's more with material possessions. I think that, you kind of decide, oh, I really want this car, and you're saving up for this fucking car. You get it, and it's like, oh, wait. It's kind of cool for maybe a few days, but then it wears off, and you kind of got the same life again. You stay the same person. And that happens too with like relationships and any kind of material kind of shit and vacations. It's like you get to the vacation, it's fun, but then like if you're doing a 2-week thing and you're there and it's kind of like, yeah, well, I'm kind of as miserable as I always was. And then your relationship's there and it's like, yeah, well, I'm still kind of the same guy no matter what. And we're constantly looking for these things to fulfill us. And very often we find that that's not the answer. These specific things are not the answer. And I'm not gonna, most definitely, because those things are important to realize. And if we're paying attention, you can kind of learn that lesson. It's like, oh well, maybe having more money doesn't fulfill me the way I thought it would. For you, maybe it does. That's something you got to figure out, and you got to go through that. And that goes the same with everything. And I think that because at the finish line, maybe there's nothing, there's emptiness. There's something else that you gain from it, though, And I think what we need to think about is in this new year, when you set your goals, try not to think as much as what do you want to have, but think of who do you want to be. Because if your weight loss is your thing, and I want to have 10 pounds less, 20 pounds less, whatever. I want that, as opposed to I want to be fucking healthy. I want to be a person who's mindful of what they eat, and I'm aware of when I eat something that it affects my body and my mind. I want to be that person. That was my phone ringing. That's very different, because that's kind of a journey that takes longer. Because you can lose the 10 pounds, you can lose whatever kind of pounds, and they'll come back. You can build the muscle, and they'll come back. You can meet the women, and they'll come and go. But what stays is the character that you've developed. It's because losing weight and doing any endeavor that you're gonna do that involves time, and it involves time, it involves patience, it involves diligence, persistence, putting in time every day, work ethic, and if you succeed at those things, those become lessons that you take, and they're in you, and then suddenly you're like, wow, I did this. I'm a guy, or woman, or whoever you are watching this. Is like, I'm a person who is patient, puts in the work, takes the small steps, and fucking gets shit done. And guess what? That's something that you'll have with you forever, no matter what you decide to do. Even if these goals are kind of, they come and go, they're transient. You can get more goals, and you'll be successful in whatever. And I think that's incredibly valuable. Even more so than what you actually get is the person that you become. So try and think about that, Try and think, who do I want to be? What does that person do? What does that person look like? What does that person think? And that's I think, a useful paradigm when thinking about goals and goal setting and who you want to be in this new year. And I hope that you don't let this cynicism of goals bring you down, because it's worthwhile, And maybe, you've made goals and you've seen that, oh, well, I forget about them in 3 months, or in 3 weeks, 3 months if you're lucky, 3 weeks, and I don't see the point in it anymore. But, and a lot of people feel that way about goals and planning. And that, oh, why bother planning? It doesn't really go where I want it to. It may not go where you want it to, but it goes somewhere. And it might be a better place. So thanks a lot. Peace out. Stay tuned. Peace.